looky here. It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Nervous Nelly. As we record this, it's sleety and snowy.
Oh my God!
And I'm nervous. I'm not nervous for myself. I'm nervous for my son. It's the first time he's driven in sketch weather.
Honestly,
very
the ground's
nervous.
still warm.
I know,
And
but he
Omaha,
overreacts.
Does he overreact in rain?
Yes.
too?
He is a very, very cautious driver to the point where it's almost dangerous. He's so cautious.
This would probably be a good time to drive because it's not icy.
Right, but I want to
This
be
would
with
be
him.
a
Like, it
good
makes me
time.
nervous. He's with his sister, and he's driving his sister home, and it's just I know how he gets. He locks the garage door when he comes in through the garage and goes upstairs to pick something up, and then to go right back down through the garage. Like he's overly cautious.
I lock my car at home. I like every time I go in the garage, I lock my car.
Well, he locks the garage door.
I don't lock the overhead door because
Yeah, not that one. The one that goes from the garage into the house. But he
do
forgets something
lock
in his
that,
car.
yeah.
He forgets something upstairs.
Okay.
Runs upstairs, locks the door, goes and gets it, runs back down, unlocks it. Like he's overly cautious.
okay, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
So I don't know. I'm just a little nervous Nelly today, but
That's
it could have been worse.
interesting.
We could be out in western Nebraska and getting a ton of snow.
See, that's just it. And I don't know how long. I don't know what the long range forecast is temperature wise, but I know that the ground isn't exactly
Crappy
frozen.
till May.
It's warm-ish, so everything's melting. Like the drain in the parking lot, it sounds like a waterfall.
Yeah, right. It does. It does.
But we are, it's too bad too that it hit. The state football tournament's going on. State football championships are going on right now in Lincoln at Memorial Stadium.
Oh yeah.
And it looked miserable this morning. And as we're watching this is day 2 of the state football championships. And so the Wahoo team, congratulations too, by the way. Also at the beginning of the game, I tweeted something out about it yesterday. Ashland's music department had their men's quartet sang the national anthem before that
sweet.
game.
That's cool.
So congratulations on that.
That's very awesome.
Watching the game, you just saw the weather slowly deteriorate, and then the winds were whipping, and the snow was flying east to west straight across the screen.
Well, we'll know if
So
Heidi
whatever,
took her
west-
fireball in there. If she
by tonight,
yeah, it's going to be nipply. Yep.
miserable. And it's not like they had. It was kind of funny because they had those huge heaters on the sidelines, and it was like looking at. I'm trying to think like a flock of chickens all huddled around the heater.
Like a bunch of cows out in the pasture where they're all trying to block
And they kind of slowly take turns going from the middle back out to the outside.
Totally.
And keep shifting around to get everybody warmed up a little bit. But yeah, it is. I think it felt like with the wind chill, it was like 20 degrees is what it felt like. To me, that's the temperature because I don't care what the real temperature is when the wind's blowing in your face.
I don't even think they need to give us the real temperature. We don't need to know that. Just tell us if it feels like
What it feels like is what it is.
if the water burns my hand and it's only 14 degrees, I don't care. It burns my hand.
It's hot.
It's hot. So just say that it's hot. We got some text.
So-
We got some text 402-403-9478 from Sarah. Says I'm a little behind on the podcast. Sorry, but she goes a little bit of paranoid techie advice. When you're Googling questionable things or something you won't want your name attached to, use an incognito tab.
Yes.
On Chrome.
That's a great idea.
Wow, you answered that pretty quick. I wonder you've been searching. Yes, I do.
I forget about it all
fast.
the time. I forget about to
Do you
go
really think it's
incognito?
incognito? Like it says incognito. We have no way to prove that it's incognito.
I think the only way you could probably prove it interesting is that I'm listening to one of the podcasts, Live or Die in
LA. Yeah.
That one, is it Live or Die or Live and Die?
Live or
anyway,
die. Or and die.
and how they figured out a lot of it was looking at his Google history.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful.
And I would think that if you're incognito, you can turn those things off so it can't track you.
But do you know that it really does? Like you know what I mean?
If you go to your Google, if you go to your history,
But
or
the
not your
police
history,
can always find it. The police, not like you're trying to necessarily hide from the cops, but the police can always find everything.
Okay, then let's just put it this way. If you're only trying to hide it from people who are closest to you, incognito
There you
probably
go.
works
There you
fine.
go. If you're trying to commit a murder,
Just don't.
just don't.
Just don't.
If you're trying to commit a murder, that's the name of our podcast too. Remember that.
Okay.
If you're trying to commit a murder, just
I'll
don't.
write that down.
Okay, so when Googling incognito, blah, 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 private tab in Windows or Safari or whatever, no more having dirty underpants attached to your name unless they're your son's. That's funny. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, this is from Leigh. It says, so I have a notification on my phone. Oh, that's an old one. I got to go back.
Okay.
The way our text message little system here, it doesn't differentiate from the days very well.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, it's kind of like on Facebook. I get pissed on Facebook when I'm scrolling because I keep seeing the same posts every day. Mm-hmm. And then you have to keep constantly going up and hitting that tab and ask them to send them in order.
Yeah.
Just give me the posts in the order they came. Quit telling me which ones I'll like.
Remember. Why don't you remember Facebook? You remember everything else about everything I bought last year at Baker's.
You know I already saw all this.
Right.
And I went right past it the first time. And if I didn't comment the first time, I'm not going to comment the second time.
Right.
So just stop.
Okay, Leigh says, holy S word. I was just listening to the Forensic Files soundtrack, and I swear to God, Vers was on as a witness. Podcast, not podcast. Did he ever date a stripper who killed a guy? So...
Another thing to ask Vers.
Let's you know what? Hold on again. Let's just try it. Let's attach my phone with Bluetooth real quick and try to call Vers and see.
I think that'd be a great idea.
If he ever.
Yeah, go ahead and give him a buzz. While you're doing that, I was just going to say I got my notifications from Nextdoor, and had one. It was headline was police, and from Windridge Hills, Blake posted. I just had 2 Omaha cops knock on my door. Said my dogs were chasing a woman on a bike. I said, that's impossible. My dogs don't have bikes. I was like, okay, comedian in the house.
That's funny. That is a Rob McCartney dad joke.
He's got
right
like
there.
46 hearts, lots of laughing faces.
It is hilarious.
It's not at all what you expect to find on Nextdoor. It's always somebody complaining about something, right? Doing their beaching.
That's super funny.
I died. I was like, Blake, well done.
That was very funny. Nice job, Blake. All right. Let's
okay,
try
do we
to
get
dial.
Vers
Well,
yet?
We're gonna try. We're gonna try to dial up.
I didn't mean
Vers
to
here.
distract you with my
Oh, that was funny.
hilarity. And still to come, we're going to have a short lesson on how to work a drive-through at a fast food restaurant.
Oh gosh.
Come on, Vers.
Come on, Vers, answer.
Come on. Does he usually answer your calls?
I never call. I text.
Oh, he'll probably be worried.
Yeah, that's why I think he'll answer. It's an emergency. He won't answer.
He might be working,
All you got to do being being the president.
right? He's probably working.
402.
Yeah.
Two.
Okay.
All right.
Never
well,
mind.
well,
Okay.
I'll leave my phone attached to the mixer.
Just in
thing,
case.
Just in case he calls back.
He might
so.
call you back. Yeah, had an incident, and short story, but just going through a drive-through. When you're in the drive-through at any fast food restaurant, I think almost all of them are uniform. There is this real specific distance between the place you order and the window where you pay.
There is?
That it'll fit a certain amount of cars.
Oh, I never thought about that.
And so if you pull up, then the next person can get up to get their order in, and it's not a safe distance.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
But if everybody moves forward, the guy behind you can get up to the speaker. So we had one in the drive-thru the other day that was just determined she was going to stay a safe distance. And so there was this big gap in front of her, and I'm sitting there, and I couldn't. And the lady goes, "Can I take your order?"
Right.
And the speaker. And
then do you yell?
Can you hear me? They won't move up.
And then you wonder if they're going to screw up your order because your car's not in front of the camera.
Right. They don't have anything to combine. So finally we got things moving. And it was funny because it affected then because there were 1, 2, 3, 4, then me. So there are 4 cars and then me between the speaker and the window. And the window car goes away. And so this affects the next 4 cars behind me because every
right.
one of them, she only goes up a little bit. And so the next one, they're hanging out the door.
And they're so
because you
pissed.
don't want to wait till you move up a little to use. You just want to drive your point home.
Right.
I'm yelling out my window because you won't move.
And whoever it was,
They couldn't hear it.
Nothing.
And she was way young enough to know the difference.
Come
I'm
on,
just
lady.
telling you right now.
Oh, okay, so that's the same person that pulls up to a stop sign.
Oh, my God.
And you can take a right on a red or at a stoplight, and they don't pull up far enough, and they're just sitting right there.
Or do the slow roll to the stoplight. They start because they see it's changing, so they just really start slowing down.
It's like, dude,
Just drive up there like you mean it. Right. You don't have to hit the brakes and squeal the tires.
We followed a lady home yesterday that was in a 45. She was probably going 37. Like she was an older lady.
She was okay.
10 and 2.
I do give a little leeway.
Okay, maybe when you hear the rest of this, you won't because she's going super slow where it was driving us crazy. But she blew through every stop sign. Like she slowed down, took off. It's like you're going to go and you're going to drive 8 under and then blow through the stop sign. Just right in the neighborhood.
You need to commit.
Right.
One way or the other. Either be a complete hazard.
Right.
Or you're wrapped in, I don't know, you're wrapped in bubble wrap.
We
One of the
expected a
two.
3-second stop, look both ways. Nothing. It was
Nope.
funny.
I'm gone. See you later. All right, let's see here. What else I have? Oh, just so you know, I got my Grammarly stats back.
Oh, that's right. How are...
Have we done these before?
Did you install that on my account? Because we
It's
have
just on my Chrome.
Okay. Because my I know I'm not getting better at spelling, but I've got a new thing on my work email that like it gives me like if I have a little sentence, it gives me suggestions.
It
of
does.
Things.
It
Is that
does.
Grammarly?
And they work. No.
Okay.
I think it might be. It works in conjunction because I saw some kind of an email about it. But it's okay. And so yes, it is a new thing though that's on here. So good for you paying attention to that.
Yeah.
So 5 weeks now I've been doing Grammarly, and just so y'all know, I was more productive than 72% of Grammarly users.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, 10,547 words were checked. Actually,
Man.
more productive than 92%. 92%.
Oh, I was going to say, because I thought you were in the 80s last time.
Yeah, more accurate than 74%. But my alerts that come down is because I use unnecessary commas in complex sentences 86 times. Unnecessary ellipses, I ... all the time.
Oh, I ... a lot.
And if you ... or ... Grammarly doesn't like it. 3 dots.
It's got to be. That's the ellipse. There was a billboard last summer that had 4 dots. ... It drove me crazy.
Drives you nuts.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had 83 alerts for that, unnecessary ellipses. And then incorrect punctuation with the quotation mark. I always get that wrong. 66 alerts, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But overall, 28,029 total words checked since October 27th. Over 10,000 last week.
That's pretty good.
I've been writing some docs.
Commas are sometimes hard. Some commas are hard. Is there a comma before or after
Oxford?
a but?
Oh, you're talking about
The but?
Yeah, the but.
Like
That's
I'm
where
gonna
I use.
run,
That's where I
but-
use unnecessary ellipses.
Is it? Yeah.
Because I go ... but comma.
Right. Whoa. But comma.
That's a rule in my head. That is like right there.
But comma.
But
And
comma.
Grammarly doesn't like the but comma.
Apparently. And the comma is like the Oxford comma. That's another thing that people talk about a lot. Using the comma before the and, because it does differentiate. And you don't always have to, but there are some people who are absolutely 100% for it, and there are others that absolutely hate it. There's even, it's to the point where people put it in their profile. Oxford comma.
So dumb.
I'm like, okay, whatever. I just ellipse this out of everything. ...
Me? I do a lot of ellipses. A lot.
So there you go. Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, that's funny. I would have lost a lot of money if somebody asked me to bet on that sentence at the beginning of the day. I'm like, nah, no
Not
way.
a chance when she never mentions the word
There's no
ellipse.
way anybody in this country says that sentence today.
Okay, so there's that.
We did get there was one more text we got
Yeah,
too.
go ahead.
A very cool one from again no name, but that's okay. It says, "Hear you guys talk about Kugler Vision every single day. Decided to go for a consultation. I have extremely poor eyesight, and I have my whole life. Have been told for years that correction is unlikely." So went last week. While vision correction is still unsure, they did find a hole in my retina and have referred me to a specialist for surgery. Thanks for pushing Kugler. They may have saved my eyesight after all.
Oh my God.
That is amazing. And then no name on that one.
And honestly, and no commercial here, but it's just, honestly, we just believe in them. If for no other reason than just to have the most complete eye exam. If for no other reason. Maybe you don't even want to, you aren't even considering doing any kind of procedures. That's fine. But just find out for sure, because they can see.
Well, and it's not
so much.
It's not even just your eyes. It's and I'm going to tie this all back to Real Housewives, of course. One of the Real Housewives of Jersey was with her dad, and she told a story about how he went into the eye doctor and they found some spots in the back of his eye, and it led them to find that he had widowmakers in his like 4 or 5 blocked arteries, and
which
all
that's
of
what that
saved his
is, by the
life.
way, is like little aneurysms or little blockages that any one of them cuts loose and it kills you.
And it's no symptoms. You just don't know. You don't know you have widowmaker till you're dead. My dad had it. And he
Wow.
was just tired one day and went to the doctor, and they're like, "You're not leaving." They didn't let him leave. They took him and had like quadruple bypass, and it's a widowmaker.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? See, that's why we, as far as Kuglers, it's not just about getting rid of the glasses. It's not just about that. It's about a lot more. So there you go.
There it is. So thanks for your
There it
text.
is.
But
I appreciate that.
When you guys text, leave your name if you can remember.
Absolutely, if you want to, or a fake one that'll make Pat happy.
It's all about just making me happy.
Make Pat happy.
Make me
Why not
happy.
do that? So so I don't really have. I'm trying to think here. What else is going on right now?
Just a lot. Just getting ready for Thanksgiving. We already had Thanksgiving, so it's an
See,
odd. I'm in an
this
odd
is-
I'm in an odd weird. We already had our
Well-
complete Thanksgiving meal, and I want another
I know.
one, but I don't want
Is-
to make another one.
Is Thanksgiving always the fourth Thursday?
I don't know. I assume.
Is that why it's so flipping late this year?
I don't know.
Because Thanksgiving should have been last week in my world.
Mm-hmm.
The 22nd, 23rd. That's usually Thanksgiving. And I think somebody said something about it always happens right before a leap year that we have a really late Thanksgiving. I've never.
That'd be right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that leap years happen every when we elect a president. That's what that, and it used to be just when the Winter Olympics happened every 4 years. But I don't know if that's the same anymore. But it is when we elect a president that same year of a leap year.
I never put those two together.
Yeah.
A late Thanksgiving and electing a
In
president.
order for me to learn stuff, I had to do association games constantly.
Somebody says something about this. Why is Thanksgiving so late? As it turns out, there's a reason, and it's historic. Okay, I'm obviously cold reading this, so I apologize. But it goes back to 1939. Franklin Roosevelt decided to shake up the tradition a bit in the name of capitalism. Thanksgiving had been celebrated on the last Thursday of the month since Abraham Lincoln. But in 1939, according to Time, the calendar had been unusual as the month
okay.
started on a Wednesday.
I'm going to have you pause because Verse,
my
Verse
gosh.
is calling. Hey, Verse, what's up? We're recording our podcast. How are you, buddy? Verse, are you there? Hold on, Verse.
Barely hear you.
Hey, Verse. Hi, buddy.
Hi, can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, we got a question. Want to ask you something real quick? Got a text in at the show. We're recording our podcast. If you didn't hear me say that before,
And somebody had a question for you because they were listening to another podcast and they heard somebody they thought sounded like you.
it's awesome. You ready?
Okay, here we go.
This is from Leigh.
Well, hold on. Are we on a podcast right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Kind of hungover, so let's not get there.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. She said, "Holy S word. I was just listening to the Forensic Files soundtrack, and I swear to God, Vers was on it as a witness." And then she said, "Podcast, not soundtrack." So podcast. Did he ever date a stripper who killed a guy?
No.
Okay.
I'm sad that you thought about
I
that
know,
for a
it
minute.
took a long time, Vers.
Is it from, do you know what podcast you got that from?
It was the Forensic Files podcast.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Not that they could prove in law, the court of law.
Oh, got it. Okay, good.
Well, that's all we had.
That's it, buddy.
So we just wanted to verify that before we moved on.
I got you. No,
Okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
no cinnamon, no jasmine
Cinnamon
in my dating path.
at the Spice Rack.
The Spice Rack,
It's
yeah.
a great little bar.
Uh-huh.
Oh, JT, don't act like you have been to the strip club like you don't know the name.
Right.
I remember going to one in Council Bluffs, and I went to one up in what county is that?
I'm sure it was awesome.
Cedar County.
Cedar County?
Up by the South Dakota border.
Wow. I'm sure that was awesome.
Yeah, I've been to a couple. I have to admit, I have.
What's your favorite?
I didn't have a favorite.
The one in CB that I've been to two of them in my whole life.
Was it Razzle Dazzle?
The Razzle Dazzle was one in Fremont, yeah.
Oh.
Or is that
Way to
Boomers?
play coy.
Razzle
Way
Dazzle.
to play coy.
I
JT.
couldn't remember if
Yeah.
it was a Razzmatazz
Is
or
it-
Razzle Dazzle.
Is it Razzle Dazzle?
I know I've been.
That's the name.
I
I'm
know
not
I've been.
sure.
I knew I was at the 20s Club once. Before it got torn down, obviously.
There you go.
The one over, I think the one in Council Bluffs was at the Razzle, because Boomers was in Fremont, and I was at the Razzle. And when
Razzle
they turned the light on at 2:00, it's like, holy cow. All the dudes scurry like
A lot of bad
cockroaches.
decisions made in that joint.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my God.
Rough.
Oh my God.
All right, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you very
First.
much.
You bet you guys. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
See you
You
first.
can always
Bye.
count on him for a little
Right.
strip club history. Oh my God. Anyway, Thanksgiving got moved around.
Hard left back to talking
Right.
about Thanksgiving.
Back to the family dinner.
Right.
They moved it and said that would give more time for shopping, and this and that happened. And then the following year, the change stuck. What they did, they moved it to this. It's now the second to last. It was supposed to be the second to last Thursday of each month, but now it's the last Thursday of the month.
Okay.
And that's why it's so stinking late this year,
Okay.
because there was an extra Thursday
Okay.
or whatever, the first, whatever. Something.
What? You know what? Whatever.
I don't know. All I
just-
know is it's way too late because we're just days away from December.
Yeah.
And we
Isn't-
haven't had Thanksgiving yet.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, and also as we speak, we don't know what happened on the big game on Friday.
No, we don't.
Oh boy.
We'll find out together.
We'll all just find out together.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Thank you guys for listening to our podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure you go to patandjt.com. That's where all the details is. On our podcast, 402-403-9478. Put your name on if you text us. If you
please
want to
do.
say hi and say thank you. Appreciate it.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Parkville Media Production.